Om Shanti. Today Baba says in the Murli that in order to go beyond the consciousness of bodies, do not look at the image, but look at the living being and the character. Now, when we hear this slogan, we immediately want to look at other people around us in a soul conscious way, and we want to look at them in a manner that we don't see the bodies, but we look at the soul, the living being, and their character, which is their pure virtues of the soul. But what we need to understand is that is the application of the soul conscious stage. But how do we develop that soul conscious stage? So first we start with ourselves. So we don't look at our image, but we look at the living being and the character. And what is the image, and who is the living being, and what is the character? Now you see that we have an image of ourselves in our buddhi, self-image. And that self-image is colored by many things. How we look, how we dress, how we are looked at, our religion, our culture, everything defines our self-image. And the way you look at yourself is far from looking at the living being and looking at the original character of the soul. So, how many of you are very close to seeing yourself as a pure, peaceful, loveful point of light? So, do you look at yourself like that? So, we don't look at ourselves like that, and we have to train ourselves to look at ourselves like that. But the thing is that, and today's Murli, while listening to today's Murli, many times I had this thought, and these three words came up in my mind many times: Mansa, Vacha, Karmana. So, when we say Om, it is action, utterance, and mind. So it's not just, so these three have to be in sync. So it's not like I sit in meditation and think of myself as a pure, peaceful point of light. And then when I speak words, they are far from pure or peaceful. And then when I conduct myself, I am working with the energy of haste and irritation and expectation. So it doesn't work like that. So when I am on this journey of realizing and coming back to my pure, peaceful, loveful point of light self, then I have to pay a lot of attention to think of myself like that, speak like that, and conduct myself like that. And there's a very beautiful law that says we perceive as we are. So the way we are, when that starts to shift, if I start to shift from the self-image that I have today to having the self-image that I'm a pure, peaceful, loveful being of light, then I will be able to see other souls around me like that. But in order to come to that place where I can see myself as I am, I need to remember Baba, because Baba is bodiless and I'm still in a body. So seeing myself, the bodiless, in the body, becomes very easy when I look at the one who doesn't have a body. And he doesn't have a body, and he's the ocean of love, peace, purity. And when I see myself as his child and just like him, then it becomes very easy for me to connect with who I really am. And then I can see others as they are, not as I perceive them. And I tell you that, and this exercise or this practice is very, very important because deception, deception, we feel deceived most of the times. So do you feel deceived by people and you feel deceived by their behaviors? But deception is a product of expectation and perception. So we are deceived by our perception, we are deceived by our expectation. And if we could see through, if we could just see, if we could see the living being and the character and then observe the sanskars as they are, then we would never be deceived. So let's look at this one beautiful thing. Like, so we have this habit of associating a person's character with the way they look and dress. So let's take one simple example. So, and that comes with you dressing and looking a certain way for a certain place or a certain event, and you think that you convey with the way you dress. So you communicate with the way you dress. And so when you have this idea and you have this self-image that the way I dress is a reflection of who I am, and not like who I am, but you think that your dress, the way you dress, is connected with who you are, then you sometimes turn it the other way around and you try to figure out who the other person is by the way they dress. Yes, and if a person is, dressed in a certain way which you think is very traditional, then you think that this person is very traditional and they have ideas that are rigid and fixed and this and that. And then if some person is wearing a certain kind of dress, you think they are open-minded and they are so and so, but it is not like that. So until and unless you break that box in which your thinking about yourself, your image of yourself is limited by how you dress, and if you can't think about yourself, can't see yourself as you are despite how you dress. So if the dress matters to you, then their dress can deceive you. So if your dress matters to you, then their dress can deceive you. So this is why it is very important that we break our own, these limitations that we have in our buddhi about who we are based on what we do on the external. Or I'm not talking about karma, I'm talking about rituals and practices that are very external. Like I'm not talking about there are three things I think that need to be underlined in the Murli today. So there is karma, there is the consciousness in which you do karma, and then there is this thing about looking at yourself as you are separate from what you do and how you conduct yourself. So the first thing about karma is you need to know that karma has an impact on your destiny. And Baba teaches us the difference between good karma and sinful karma and neutral karma. So that has to be kept in mind. Then the second thing is the consciousness in which you do karma, because sometimes you can do good karma in weak consciousness, or you could do very bad karma in good consciousness. So again, consciousness also has an impact. So the what you do matters, how you do it also matters. And then the third thing is not getting karma conscious. So not letting what you do affect who you are. Yes, but that can only happen when you're doing good karma, because if you're doing bad karma, it is definitely going to affect who you are, because that will have an impact on the soul and on the consciousness of who you are. So first, let's take this thing about, so if you are in body consciousness and you think that what you eat, what you wear, shows who you are. So if you think that what you eat doesn't mean, I'm not talking about taking vegetarian food and food prepared in Baba's remembrance, but if you think that, if in a situation I eat, I am so the food is pure, but then if I don't get a certain kind of food, so, for example, food that's to my liking and taste, then I will get upset or I will lose my happiness. Then you will not be able to separate other people also from their behavior, because how you conduct yourself is affecting who you are. So Baba says, apart from the broad guidelines, so the broad guidelines about good and bad karma, sinful and accurate karma, you should understand that it doesn't matter, the culture we are born in and other things. So, there are aspects of our conduct which are purely related to cultural conditioning. Yes, and they don't speak about who we are. And if we are able to dissociate our self identity from those things, then we will be able to see others as they are and as who they are. But if we keep getting our ideas about who we are from the job we do, or so, if somebody is in an engineering job, so, I've seen people talk like, we software people are like this, or we businessmen are like this. But if two people are businessmen, it doesn't mean that they have the same character. So who you are is very different from the business you do or the job you do or the degree you have. It doesn't mean that 5 people who have an engineering degree are the same on the inside. So there are 5 different souls and different personalities. But if you relate to these things and you think they are a part of who you are, then you will not be able to detach other people from these physical identities and look at who they are. And if you are not able to look at who they are, how will you be able to influence them or touch their heart? So Baba says, first, try to see yourself as you are, separate from all the cultural conditioning you have, and whatever you do according to the culture, that's different. But who you are as a pure soul is very different. And try to see that. And what will help you see that is seeing Baba and seeing yourself as Baba's child and somebody who is made in the image of God. So when you start seeing yourself like that, then you will be able to see others also like you can see yourself. And then your drishti creates your srishti, or how you see. So there is a very beautiful saying that says that the way you look at things determines how they are, or if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. And if you are able to see yourself in your truth and see others in their truth, then you will be able to influence them to get back to their truth. So this is something that Baba is telling us. And also the part I told about deception is very important, because expectations are based on our perception of who they are, and then we are deceived. So, if somebody is good looking and healthy and earning well, then you have an expectation that they will support you. But if they have money and if they have good health and physical strength, doesn't mean they have a kind heart. And if they don't have any of these and they have a kind heart, they will be able to help you anyway. And if somebody has all these factors intact and they don't have a kind heart, then they won't be able to help you anyway. So who you are and what you are capable or incapable of is more to do with your spiritual self than any other factors. So, sometimes we say that Marwadis are like this, or Sindhis are like this, or Gujaratis are like this, or Europeans are like this. And then we kind of look at those people through those filters. And then our perception creates our reality. And if I'm able to look at them as they are, so, core, sometimes the other person also doesn't know that they have this core which is pure, peaceful, loveful, blissful, and full of spiritual light. And if you are able to see yourself as Baba sees you, then you will be able to see them as they are. And then they will also be able to see themselves and act accordingly. So this is the change. So how do we become the agent of change? By looking at the invisible and then making the invisible visible through our attention and perception. So this is what Baba tells us in the slogan today. So it's very important to practice this, and you cannot practice it on other people. You can practice it on yourself and then apply it to other people. Yes, so that's there. And in my experience, this is a very powerful tool for change. So if you are able to use this tool for change, it works the fastest and it is very powerful and effective. So you can use this tool to be an agent of change. And then just like I was talking about the other two aspects, which is karma, doing the right karma, and Baba has given us the knowledge of karma. So it's not like if I eat food that is filled with the wrong kind of vibration and I eat it in Baba's remembrance, it's not going to have an effect on me. It is definitely going to have an effect on me because that's the wrong kind of food. So that's karma. So what you think, what you eat, how you see, what you speak, what you do, all that is karma. So Baba has given us a very simple and straight and very clear formula. Purity is the mother of peace, happiness, and prosperity. So for today's Murli focuses on this, and we will try to underline this many times in the day today, that the main thing is purity. Purity is the mother of peace, happiness, and prosperity. People want peace, happiness, and prosperity, but it comes with purity. So first thing is purity. Now Baba has taught us pure karma. So Baba has taught us what is pure drishti, pure thoughts, pure words, pure food, pure conduct. Every day in the Murli, we are learning the difference between impure karma and pure karma. Yes, so celibacy is pure karma. Eating food which is of pure quality and prepared in the remembrance of Baba is pure food. And pure thought is when your thoughts emerge from soul consciousness. So those are pure thoughts. Pure words are when you are talking to the soul, looking at them as God's child and talking to the soul, that's pure words. So Baba has taught us the difference between pure karma and impure karma. And Baba is today also telling us that we should do pure karma in pure consciousness. So, you know that elevated consciousness or pure consciousness. So, let me talk about this relationship first. So, you know, there is a lot of talk about mindfulness these days, and people talk about uh, thinking about the tea while sipping the tea. So, if you are thinking about something else while sipping the tea, then the tea doesn't, the tea doesn't um, create the impact that it's supposed to create. So that's mindfulness. And I talked about mansa vacha karmana. So the mantra is Om. Om means action, utterance, and mind are in the same place. So Baba says that when you're doing pure karma, you should also stay in the awareness of what you're doing. So let me first explain this through an example. There was this experiment done amongst hotel staff. So there is the housekeeping staff and in a hotel, and then that housekeeping staff engages in a lot of physical activity every day because everything they do, that cleaning and that making of beds and moving of things, is all very physical in nature. So they do a lot of physical work. But then there was this team which visited them and they asked them, do you exercise? And then they said, no, we don't find the time to exercise, because they did not think that what they do is exercise. So they thought of it as work and they did not think of that as exercise. And they said, we don't get the time to exercise. And then they were shown a short video wherein they were educated that this movement that you do is equal to a squat, and this thing that you lift from here is equal to this. And then they were shown how making one room and setting one setup in one room is equal to this much of exercise and these many squats and these many pushes and these things. And then they were asked to keep that in mind while doing their work. And when they started doing that, then after a week, they were again studied and they said that they feel their health is much better, and some even lost weight because they did it consciously. So, you see, this is the power of having your mind and your speech and your act in the same place. And if we want to understand this, we can understand this from a very simple example. You see, there is one person who goes to the gym and works out, and he's very happy that he's getting healthy. And there is another person who does the same exercise in the form of jhadu pocha at home, and then they are miserable. So it's the same exercise, but then you're doing it in a different form, but you're miserable. And why you're miserable is because you think you are being, so you're being tortured, or you're being made to do it or forced to do it, and you don't like it. So it's the thought that go with the act that that create happiness or sorrow. So Baba today says that if you have faith that everything that you're doing on Srimad is making you eligible for a place in Satyug, then with that every act you will also feel a lot of happiness. So, and if you just eat pure food and wear white clothes and meditate, and you are reading the Murli, but you don't have the faith, you don't understand what this is doing or how important this is. So, if you give a child a bundle of money, so you have given that child 1 crore rupees, and then that child doesn't know what is the value of that money, then there won't be any happiness. Yes, if the child doesn't understand the concept of money, there'll be no happiness. So, in order to have happiness, the mind needs to be in sync with the act. And there has to be realization, there has to be consciousness, there has to be faith. And if there is no faith, then there is a disconnect, and then you cannot feel the happiness of very good karma also. So, Baba today says that purity is the mother of peace and happiness. And when you are doing pure karma, you are definitely going to create a pure world for yourself, and you're going to be in that pure world. But then you need to have faith in that in order to feel the happiness of going to that pure world. And if you don't have faith in it, then even if you are doing everything, you will still become a depression patient or an anxiety patient. And you can, you can be a depressed BK. So you can get up in the morning and meditate and listen to Murli and still be depressed. Why? Because you don't have faith in what you're doing. And you don't understand that, and you can do seva and feel exploited. Because you feel according to who you are. So if your sanskar is to feel that way, then even if you're doing very good karma, it won't make you feel that happiness. And the other day I was talking to Santosh Bhai, and we were discussing something, and then he told me that we were talking about somebody, and he said they are so fortunate. There is this one sister, and we were talking about her, and I felt that she's really fortunate to be with such a good Didi, and she's in a really good center, and where there is a lot of seva and there is a lot of good karma being created. And that sister didn't have a lot of qualifications in her in her life back at with life before Gyan, but then she's fortunate to be in that center, and she's really creating a fortune there. But then that sister, I have not seen her happy, because there is no realization of that. So sometimes, so what I want to today, and what Baba I think is saying through the Murli today, is that good karma is very important, but faith in good karma and a deep knowing that this is good karma and this is creating my fortune is very, very important. So Whenever you get up in the morning, you should know that you're sitting before Baba, and this one simple act is making you a deity. So, it's consciousness that's very, very important. Sometimes, if you are in a college and you are passing an exam, you're writing an exam, and then you know that you're going to become a doctor or an engineer after that, and you have no faith in it, then can you feel the happiness of becoming a doctor? So, this faith is so important, the faith in who you are, faith in what you are doing, faith in the teacher who is making you do it, that he's teaching you right, and the faith in what you will become out of it. That faith is the foundation of the internal happiness that you feel while doing everything. So when you have faith, you feel internally happy. That's what Baba tells us. So, but we must understand that all these things have a role. It's not like you have faith in the wrong thing and you will feel happy. So if you do the wrong thing, happiness will go away. So there is another portion in the Murli where Baba talks about how sinful karma takes away your happiness. So, when you have faith in the good karma you're doing, you're filled with super sensuous happiness. And then, when you do sinful karma, it takes away your happiness. And it is very, very easy to determine this. And I always give this example: you speak one wrong word to somebody, and not even one wrong word. I tell you, if you speak one extra sentence, so you spoke what you needed to speak, and then you spoke one thing which was extra and out of place. And then you cannot get rid of that thought that you spoke extra. So that's how important karma is. You do one act which is not appropriate. You waste one thing, you mess up one thing, and you cannot get rid of the thought that you messed it up, or you wasted it, or that thing broke because you didn't handle it well. So these things we have to understand that karma is important, and Baba teaches us the difference between good karma, bad karma, sinful karma, pure karma, and we have to pay attention to that. And then the second thing is the consciousness of who we are, what are we doing, who are we becoming, who is teaching us. That has to be there, and that faith will fill us with super sensuous joy. And then today Baba also talks about this saying in Hindi, which is Sang Tare Kusang Bore. So in Hindi it is said Sang Tare and Kusang Bore. Sang Tare means the good company will take you across, and Kusang Bore means bad company will drown you. And Baba always says the only true company, Satsang, is Baba's company. And Baba teaches you Sat, which is truth, truth is beauty, truth is goodness, truth is everything. And today Baba talks about the company that we should keep. So our first thing is we should keep Baba's company. Yes, but then the soul has a man, buddhi and sanskar. And the mind is influenced by what you see, what you hear, what you eat, what you read. Yes, and what you speak. So देखना, सुनना, पढ़ना, खाना, पीना. Okay, what you eat, what you drink, what you hear, what you see, and what you read. All of this influences the mind. And in Hindi, there is a very beautiful saying. They say, Jaisa anna vaisa man. So how what you eat influences the mind directly. And Baba says that you should keep good company because good company will take you across. So if you eat the wrong kind of food, then it is bad company for your mind. And today Baba says that you should only eat that which deities eat. So deities, we are very clear about what food to offer to deities as bhog, are we not? So Baba says you have a lot of very clear idea about what is edible and inedible. So you don't need a lot of coaching about that because you have been in bhakti for 2500 years and you know what is suitable for to be offered to a deity and what is unsuitable. So Baba says, eat that which you think is suitable to be offered to a deity because jaisa ann vaisa man, and the mind is a part of the soul. So what you eat is like company to the soul, and good company will take you across and bad company will drown you. And then Baba today says even vegetables have sato rajo tamo. So if something is a vegetable, it doesn't end there. So, we know about onion and garlic, and although they are considered to be vegetables, they are categorized in the tamo category. If you look at the classification according to the Shastras, they will tell you that onion and garlic are part of the tamo vegetables. So, the most degraded quality. And then Baba says, you have to pay a lot of attention to what you eat because what you eat affects your mind as a mind, and the mind is a part of the soul. And then Baba says, don't watch bioscopes. So, bioscope means movies, and these days, there is no distinction between movies and so anything you watch is a bioscope, let me tell you that. So, this audio visual, which is created content, don't watch all of that. And Baba says that people say that movies are the road to hell. So earlier it was said like that. And Baba says, what you watch, so watch what you watch because what you watch has an influence on your mind and it has an influence on your belief systems and it totally colors how you perceive the world. So you have to be very watchful about that. So today Baba says that company is very important and we don't understand that only when we connect with people, that's not company. So everything that we watch, hear, or eat and read, all of that, what we drink is influencing the mind. So let's stick to good company because good company will take you across and bad company will drown you. So in your consciousness, you have to have Baba always. So that's the soul keeping company with Baba. And then physical company also we have to be very wary of. And I have seen that although, we think that we are very discerning and very decisive and we choose wisely, but company really colors us from within, and then we are under the influence, and then our discernment and decision making doesn't go right. So we have to take care of what we eat, what we watch, what we hear, and other stuff. So this is something that Baba talks about. So have faith, move with faith in pure karma, move with faith in the teacher, move with faith in yourself, move with faith that you are a deity and whatever you are doing according to Srimad is making you a deity again. And then beware of the company you keep, and then the vision should be soul conscious. So all these things are there in the Murli, and you can read more because the Murli is full of jewels. Now there is a question: what is heartfulness? How is it different from mindfulness? I don't know what mindfulness is also. I just talked about mindfulness because it's related to today's Murli, and it's related to having Mansa Vacha Karmana in alignment. And what you are talking about is a particular practice which is called the heartfulness practice. Okay, so I don't have an idea about what they do or what's involved in that. But if you ask me from a Gyan perspective, heartfulness means full of love in the heart, and mindfulness means the integration or the alignment between thought, word, and action. So I think that's what heartfulness would mean according to Baba. Okay, Om Shanti.